Hello and welcome back to my channel. So, long time no see, honestly. I did not plan to take this long of a hiatus. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do kind of a chatty intro was just to kind of chat about that a little bit, because it does actually have kind of an impact on bullet journal stuff and just like, you know, general life stuff, which I figure for a full year bullet journal flip through, it's kind of the time to chat about that. Also, before we go any further, I just want to say that I bought myself a little collar pin finally, and I know these are supposed to go on collared shirts, but I literally like came home from work, got it in my mail, opened it up and was gonna sit down and film, and I was like, I have to put it on, like I have to try. It's a little bit lopsided. I'm gonna have to practice doing the pins like in this direction or whatever, but it's so cute. They're little feathers, and I cannot wait to wear it with like collared tops and literally like collared tops and a sweater vest, but I just put it on here. So don't mind me. I know this isn't the way that it's supposed to be worn, but like, I don't care. So if you are ever on the community tab, you might have seen the updates I posted where I was planning on taking a 2-week hiatus over the Christmas holidays, because it was the Christmas holidays and why not? And I ended up taking a little bit longer. At this point, I think it's been 4 weeks since I posted, 3 or 4 weeks. I actually haven't looked. I'm a little bit afraid to, because it feels like it's been so long. And let's chat about that. So before the Christmas holidays, my hot water heater went out. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with filming for YouTube? And let me tell you, I did not think it was going to be this big of a deal, but it was. I didn't get my hot water heater replaced until a couple days after Christmas. And honestly, the fact that I couldn't just like go and have a hot shower in the morning when I wanted it, or that I couldn't just like do my dishes in hot water, and like I was able to do my dishes because I would just boil water and like do it that way, and I had a friend that I could go and use her shower, like it wasn't the end of the world. It literally was like not that bad. However, I am so driven by my routines that the fact that if I wanted a hot shower, I had to like get dressed in my apartment, pack up all my stuff to go and shower, walk a mile to my friend's house, shower there, walk a mile back home, and then like get ready to do whatever I was doing, that it completely threw off all of my plans over my Christmas holidays, and like all of like the timelines that I had imagined, like all of that, it just completely threw me off. And it also just put me in a massive funk, because it felt like it was just one more apartment thing on top of like several other apartment things that have been kind of going on. So that was kind of the first hurdle, where I had intended to film and like try and film a bit of a backlog, both for Sunshine and Stationery and for That So Scott, and it absolutely just did not happen. And then when I finally got everything fixed, I was focused on grading stuff because I had a huge backlog of grading for work, and then I went back to work and grades were due and I had to keep working on that. And it's just been like, all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't filmed anything in like 4 weeks, and I haven't posted anything in like 4 weeks. So I apologize about that, but at the same time, like, I apologize because it's a shame, but at the same time, like, I'm not sorry in the sense that I did what I had to do so that I like didn't stress myself out even more than I already was. That's kind of what it comes down to. So when I was looking through like, okay, what do I need to do in order to reduce my overall stress, and what do I need to let go until I can do that so that I can function and like not get sick and not burn out and all of that. And honestly, YouTube was the thing that kind of had to go. I basically stopped sewing and doing YouTube stuff for quite a while I was working on both apartment and just like work stuff, and now things are finally going better, so I've started sewing a little bit, and today is the first day that I've actually had like a solid chunk of time to sit down and do some filming. So we're getting back on track, I hope, but that is the sort of reason behind my extra long hiatus. Also, the reason why I don't have a January plan with me. I honestly got to the point where I kept putting off setting up January because I was like, I'm gonna film it, and I finally was like, I just need to set it, like I need it. I film stuff for my bullet journal for you all so that I can explain how I like do stuff and show you how I plan and that kind of stuff, but like at the end of the day, I use my bullet journal every single day as a tool, and I just needed my tool to be set up and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to save January for when I do my February plan with me, which is coming soon, and the December recap you're gonna just see as part of my full bullet journal flip through, and that's just kind of the way it's gonna go. So I did set up January. I have been using it. You will see it when we do the February setup. It is is set up exactly the same way as I always do, minus a couple of changes, which we will talk about because there are also changes that I'm going to have in February as well. But yeah, it just got to a point where I couldn't handle the thought of trying to film and put up a video. So yeah, so without further ado, 2021. So I got all of 2021 in my bullet journal. As you can see, I have not put my archive stickers on yet. I actually don't know what I usually do, but I just decided to wait until after I was finished filming before I went ahead and did those stickers. But this is my 10th bullet journal. So you can see I've got all of my previous ones starting from here. So the last 3 years, so 2019, 2020, and 2021 have all been in one journal, and then previous years I had between 2 and 3 journals a year. So we're going to take a look at everything that happened in 2021. I definitely, as we've mentioned a couple of times, especially with mega goal planning, I definitely had to adapt some of my top 5 goals, but I would say overall it could have been worse. You know, it was another weird year. Yeah, it was another weird year. I did do a tiny bit of traveling over the summer, literally just to Paris, which is like an hour and a half away from where I live. So not very far. I, did what I could do sort of thing. But I did use my bullet journal every single month, so that was great. So yeah, let's head on over to the table and kind of take a look back through at 2021. Yeah, let's head on over. So as you can see, my journal for 2021 was this copper LEUCHTTURM, just the A5 size, and let's take a peek inside. So I just had my general intro page, as I always do, and then nothing here. So I ended up using the majority of my index. I would definitely have run out of space if I hadn't split it into 2 columns, like each page into 2 columns, but because I did that, I had plenty of room. I think I'm actually completely caught up with everything on my index. I don't typically have a lot of extra collections anymore. Like I used to have a little bit more. I definitely would have more if, we were doing things like actually traveling, but as it stands, I have plenty of room on my index to do it this way. Then I have my top 5 goals. So actually I should have filled this in. I actually got about halfway through, I would say, with all of that. So I counted Italy as done because I was doing an online course and I also started in-person Italian conversation classes here in France. I will be doing an update on my language stuff hopefully in the next month or 2. We'll see when that actually happens, but we'll chat about that more then. I also did sign up for a Korean class in person. I've been working on getting my citizenship application ready. I'm getting closer. That's why I should have actually done this halfway. I just forgot. I got my first font out and we are just pretending like that did not say second font and that just has always said first font. And my no work weekends, I actually did pretty well. We'll actually take a look at how, I think I only ended up working 5 weekends, but we'll take a look at that. So then future log, just kind of general things. Basically, I've got paydays, birthdays, and if I really plan far ahead for doctor's appointments, I will also put those on here. So my goals overview, honestly, I filled out more than I thought I would. As you can see, there's a lot of bubbles that are all filled in. I didn't do as much on my Talk to Me in Korean premium classes as I would have liked. I did not actually read a book in Italian. I didn't finish my 3 books in Spanish. I got through 2. I was originally going to hopefully do some apartment shopping, and that's just one of those things, like the stress of other stuff got to be too much, and so that is back burner for now. Saving for trips did happen, and I still need to do some stuff. So this, for example, I don't know why I did this. I did my Q4 taxes in 2021, even though I have to pay them in January. So like that obviously is 2022, but I did actually pay those, so it's fine. My Make 9, I got through about 5.5-ish. I didn't quite finish it. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I'm not doing a Make 9 this year. So overall, I would say my goals were pretty good. I did have to adapt a fair number of them, but I did make some good progress. My quarterly goals actually also did fairly well. I've got a couple of things that ended up getting moved over to 2022, but the big stuff mostly got done, so that's nice. So my top 5 goals overview, so you can kind of see where I had originally done stuff to like plan to go to Italy in person and to plan some other things that didn't actually happen, and I just sort of left it on this page because it was still planning pages, but it's like I just sort of left it. So I did end up only working 4 weeks. Nice. So I actually only ended up working 4 weeks This one right here, it actually should have been gray, and I meant to do this one, so this actually, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And out of that, I think I worked a total of, so that's 12 plus 8, 20 hours. So I worked 20 hours over the weekends for all of these, and everything else I managed to fit between Monday and Friday. So honestly, pretty good. I am doing no work weekend again this year, so we'll see if I can get it down to like a perfect year. If I can't, it is what it is. It's definitely better than it used to be, which is honestly a huge win. Then I have, oops, I have my YouTube editorial calendar. So I just have like, I mark in if I have hiatuses, I mark when I have videos, like what video, and if I've posted it. I mark in if there's a week that I don't post a video. There's obviously more. This was around July was the time when I started to go to every other week. And then around here was where I started my second channel. So there, it's a little bit more chaotic near the end of the year, and yeah. We're working on that. Honestly, YouTube is the thing that has been hit the most by just, I think, life in general and pandemic stuff. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that when I first started doing YouTube, I was here, I didn't have as many friends, I didn't have a full-time job, like my hobby was bullet journaling and reading, and now I have like other stuff that I do, and it's getting a little bit harder to find the time, but we're working on it. So YouTube workflow, I've officially abandoned these 2 videos that I think I filmed like an intro for each of them and was like, I'm not making them. I'm gonna make different videos instead. So I ended up having too many pages of this. So this is actually one of the things that we changed in 2022. I only gave myself 3 pages since I like literally had a couple of extra spaces over here. I don't really need the 4th one. So then trackers. Trackers, I do it just so I kind of have an idea, but my channels don't really grow that much, so it's just kind of a general like placeholder, just so I have an idea. Quarter 1 did pretty well on all of these, so I'll try and go through some of these a little bit faster, because you do have, like, if you want to go through and see this, you'll see any of the quarterly reviews, I'll review the previous quarter, and then any of my monthly setups, I review the previous month as well. So you'll see all of these. This is really just to kind of see everything all filled in, which I apologize for the super chatty intro. I got distracted with what I was doing and started just reliving this year. So yeah. Overall, January, so this was one. I'm gonna be posting my 2021 reading recap, and we're gonna go into this a lot more, but I have a couple months where I read a ton of books. This was actually half ebook and half audiobook. Actually, no, this was a lot of audiobook. And we're gonna kind of chat about what that means, like what I've kind of figured out what that means about how things are going for me in general. So that's gonna be in the 2021 reading recap. I have, so the first month of the year, I did a sort of full-size version of my anti-racism tracker, which I get from Planning with Kay. She has a download that I always link in the description box in case you're interested. And then I have this information, which I've been doing this for a while now. So actually this January, I didn't do this stuff because I can go back through and look at it. I decided just to not print out and waste the paper of that. So yeah, this was kind of the first like big spread, and then I just print out this part for the rest of the months because I can always refer back to this in January. So then I've got my weeklies. I love how I started. I think I did this for like maybe 3 weeks and was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So I do actually have these overlay stickers from CHOOSETODO. I use them for my trackers every single month, but these ones I tend to just forget to actually do in. Did them that week, did them here, and then I stopped. Like that's basically the way it goes. It's just one of those things I don't really need the calendar at the glance. And so after the first 3 weeks of being like, oh, this is super cute, I just like stopped doing the stuff that I don't actually need, basically. I actually did keep up with the week in review all year long, and I'm a little bit impressed with myself because I wasn't sure that I was going to do that. February, this was my fairy tale month. I'm a little bit impressed because I wasn't sure that I was actually going to do the weekly review, but I actually like it, and I'm trying to keep it up this year as well. So this is where we start with the tip-ins here. So I've got my review kind of hiding under there, and then I have my anti-racism tracker over top, reading, all of that. I don't think I've changed the information on my tracker in a year. I don't think I changed it this year either. Oh, and randomly decided to start that back up again, as you do. You will also notice that I rotate through languages. So this one, I actually was planning to do Korean, and then I did my header before I remembered. And so then I switched over to Korean over here. But normally I would have this header in Korean as well. And then the next week I have French, then Spanish, and then, oh my gosh, 100 Days of Ballet. Guess who never came back to this? I think I filmed an update video on this, so we're just gonna leave that go, but I just didn't come back to it. So, you know, this was a bit of a flop. And then Italian, I did actually still do that. And March, this was chaotic, but it was my like sunrise sunset theme. So, yep, things going pretty well. I definitely have a very like variable amount of stuff that I will write for a review. Some months I write a lot more and some months I don't write that much. It just kind of depends. So this was a week in English and then going back into Italian. So I kind of arbitrarily cycle through, but I tried to do, so if there's 4 weeks in a month, I typically will do Spanish, French, Italian, and Korean or English. So like I have 5 that Spanish, French, Italian, Korean. Yeah, I have 5 that I can rotate through, and it just depends on the month, but I typically like try and rotate through all of them. I think there is actually a point at the end of the year where I got really stressed and I just did it all in English because I just didn't have the bandwidth to mess around with it. This is honestly, whenever I flip past this particular weekly, I love the headers the most. Like out of, I think my entire bullet journal, I think these are the headers that I just like, they just make me happy. So, keep going. Like honestly, if you see this is a longer review than I did for my month. So like that just goes to show you, it just depends on like what I decide to write on the day that I sit down to do it. Then I had my Talk to Me in Korean premium tracker. I was thinking about moving this to my new bullet journal and I was like, I haven't touched this in like a hot second. Literally, I think July was the last time I touched it. So I'll just leave it. I'll make a new one if I need to. Then we've got Q2, me once again not getting my font done. Q2 goals, the running list is getting shorter. We've got April. So yeah, general setup goes, you know, pretty similarly. I don't really vary too much on my general setups. I like it, it works. I did change for this year. You all are gonna see that when I when I do February with you, you'll see January and you'll see kind of some of the changes that I made. But I think this is, the last maybe 2 years or so, I've gotten really consistent through all of the months of a year. Even if I changed like the previous year or the next year, like typically the months of the year stay pretty similar. And I think that just kind of goes to show that I'm finding a system that really works for me. And so I'm just sort of running with it. So this was here. This was where I added in my little 10 minutes of Talk to Me in Korean lessons daily. I did all 30 days and then promptly stopped. So more dailies, weeklies, all of that fun stuff. Just kind of goes through. I definitely like when I do my color schemes, I know you all know when like we go through and we do them, I typically either have a color scheme based on the quote that I choose, or I have a color scheme based on what I'm physically wearing that day. Sometimes I'll have a color scheme based on my nails. There's usually some kind of like guiding force behind it. Sometimes it's completely arbitrary and sometimes it's like a very specific, like I thought of sunsets and so I did a quote on that. Like it just kind of depends month to month. So now I've got my Q3 stuff, which I actually did all the stuff and I launched my first font in Q3. I'm so proud. Yeah. Oh, that was a long time coming. So there, we've got July. I don't know what happened. I got some water on the page and so it made my pen run a little bit. Whoops. So review all of this. And definitely you can tell when there's a lot of white space, a lot of times I leave it. I don't even mess with it. This was during, oh yeah, this was actually probably the first full week of the school holidays, like our official holidays. And so I was like, I'm not doing any work this week. I'm just gonna do sewing. I'm gonna have a sewing week. And so I had a lot more white space on this like weekly and daily spread than I normally would. And then this was one where I just like arbitrarily, I had a ton of space and knew I was gonna have a ton of space. So I just put a sewing tracker over there, or like a sewing task list, I guess. So, you can see, I totally messed up what days they were. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it was for the previous week and I just like wasn't paying attention. Also, oh wait, no, I did do that right. Anyway, August. So this was when this was the last month of, or like, you know, our big month of school holidays. So I actually had quite a lot of stuff I was trying to work on since I didn't have work stuff. So this was one where I actually had so much reading that my review was just this. Yeah. And this was one, I definitely had a spike in reading because it was the end of the school holidays and I wanted to do reading, and I was doing a lot of sewing, so I had a fair amount of both ebooks and audiobooks. But yeah, this was a little excessive. Then this was where I went to Paris for the weekend, so I had all of my tracking, so like just general itinerary information, packing list, and then I just did that sort of at the beginning of the, like right after my monthly pages. And then when I actually went to Paris, I did sort of journaling in my bullet journal so that I left my longhand journal at home. So I don't have any journaling pages in my longhand journal for these days, but I did actually journal, as you can see here, while I was away. So, and it was literally just a couple of days. So like that is it. So yeah, jumping back into kind of normal stuff, getting down to the end, I actually had to go back to work. Also, I don't know what my brain was thinking. This is all in Spanish, and I just randomly wrote Sunday in Italian for reasons. I don't know what happened. So this was a case in point of this entire color scheme was chosen based on the outfit I was wearing. Also, I ordered some fabric and I got these stickers, and I actually, like probably a month later, went back and was like, these fit my color scheme for September. Let's go ahead and put the stickers on because I'm not gonna use them for anything else. They were sewing stickers, so they're cute. So yeah, I just kind of like put them in some of the white space. Normally I don't, as you know, but sometimes I will. I really liked the color scheme this month as well. I mean, I like all my color schemes. Who are we kidding? And then this, I actually, because this was the start of October, I actually started doing October stuff over here, mostly because I had these daily stickers that I wanted to use for all of my dailies in October. And if I didn't do them here, I just wouldn't be using days 1, 2, and 3. So I went ahead and started that. And then quarter 4, arbitrarily just left my thing here. I did not do any of my top 3 goals. Just like FYI, did not do any of my top 3 goals for quarter 4. Sadly, I did other stuff, but yeah, unfortunately, that did not quite get done. And then October, I always love October. We know this. So, some chaotic stickers happening. This was when I did the 7 days of sheet masks and 7 days of eye masks. I need to do that again, maybe in my February holidays, because that was a good way for me to like actually use some of my sheet masks that I tend to like forget about when I'm doing my evening skincare. So I tried to keep sort of a theme because there were stickers done by different artists in the sticky pack that I got. And so I tried to like keep the theme kind of to the page. I think it worked pretty well. So I have my Halloween bucket list and then my plans for my holidays. I didn't finish either of them, but I did actually do a fair bit. So I'm happy to have like had them written down. And then this was for actual Halloween. I wanted my Gibson Girl Witches because I really like those stickers. Then November, went back to minimalist. So just chugging along. I accidentally printed this one front and back. I think I like forgot to just click print current page. So I actually have the information on the back of this one for reasons, but because I tip it in, I actually can still read it. So that's cool. So moving along. So December, this is the one where I don't have any monthly plan with me that is going to recap this month, so we're gonna kind of do it here. So this was the first time that I had done my quote this way. I definitely need to remember to do this again because I actually really like how this spread came out. So December was weird. Yeah. So I was actually supposed to go on a school trip to Germany as a chaperone with the German teacher here, and it got canceled because of COVID. Then I lost my hot water during this period, and this is when my holidays were. So you can see that for the majority of my holidays, I did not have hot water. I also had to have the plumber come for a completely different thing, and then I had to have the electrician come and then the plumber come back. I did the one like positive thing is I actually got new radiators, so that's really cool. And I do now have a new hot water heater, but like December was kind of chaotic for apartment stuff, which was not ideal, basically. Intentions, I did a fair bit minus I did absolutely no filming at all in the month of December, like not even a little bit, unfortunately. It just, yeah, I was feeling really, really burnt out this month. Like, yeah, by the end of November, I was starting to feel really burnt out, and then December was just, it was not great. So in terms of tracking stuff, so let's open the tip out first. So I have my general tracker. You can see that my skincare in the evening fell way off. That had a lot to do with the fact that I didn't have any hot water, and I would have had to boil water, and I got lazy, basically. I also ended up reading a lot because I was just like in such a funk from just everything that I just kind of sat on my couch and I read. I did have some audiobooks kind of over here, but I also had a lot of ebooks as well. Actually, yeah, no, I had a lot of ebooks. It was kind of split half and half. I actually had one, this is one that I actually got a book from the library that I had the audiobook and the ebook for, and I actually switched kind of back and forth depending on what I was doing. And honestly, it was kind of amazing, but getting that to work out where I get the book from the library in both ebook and audiobook format is not always easy. So it's not something I've really done like that much since. I have my little review, and then I also have my anti-racism tracker, which I've got a couple of things on, but again, you know, this was a stress month. And then I had my holiday plans, which as you can see, I did very little of. Basically, the only thing I did was specifically for Christmas. So I was working on some sewing projects for Christmas. I, wanted to put up decorations, and then a friend of mine and I, both of us have family that lives in different countries. And so we have a tradition of doing Christmassy kind of stuff together. So we were planning that. I did a little bit of sewing, but not very much. I didn't do any of the filming, any of the planning, any of the reading. Like it just, yeah, this was kind of a bust. And then I was like, I don't know that we're actually gonna go on this trip. And then it was getting a little closer, and I was like, maybe we will. And I did my spreads, and then we just straight up didn't go. So I have this beautiful spread here, and then I have one that I was actually going to do sort of little doodles of my wardrobe, kind of as my packing list and like planning out the outfits. So I have just like this blank spread that I'm just not gonna fill in because the trip got canceled. So yeah, that was a bummer. Honestly, I think with all the other stress, even if it weren't COVID times, like I would have been happy with it getting canceled just because I was a little bit too stressed at that point, but it was kind of a bummer because I was looking forward to going with the kids. We might still do it, we'll see. And then just weeklies, dailies, as you go. This was the week of Christmas. I did not do very much. And then things started getting a little bit back to normal. I got my hot water heater back, and then actually was doing some stuff. I had to do some prep for work and all of that. And then that is the end. Like I literally have, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 15 pages left that I didn't actually use, but that is the end of this bullet journal. I have nothing in my pocket here. I really don't keep anything in the pockets anymore. And yeah, all that's left is to archive 2021, and we can focus on 2022. So that is all I have for today. I hope you like seeing through the completed bullet journal, because I know like month to month it kind of gets lost in the shuffle, kind of imagining the whole thing all together. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.